And now presenting in the Library of the Graphic Literatures, your host, Wallace Ryan.
Yay! Well, it's been a couple of weeks, but we're back at it here in the library, having fun, looking at some new books. So let's dive right in.
So you pronounce this what? Mobilis?
Mobilis, I think.
Mobilis.
Mobilis.
Okay.
By Junie Ba, I guess is the name. This is from TKO, which is a book.
My Life with Captain Nemo, but not the Captain Nemo.
Oh, the Captain Nemo.
Is it the Captain Nemo?
I do believe so, yeah. And funny enough, he's in the public domain, but he kind of looks like the Captain Nemo from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, right?
So it's still the same one, even though
yeah, same character, even though someone... But I could do a story, a Captain Nemo story, for instance, if I wanted, right?
I see.
But this one is, it's funny, this is one of the few times I see, and I do like the golden trim on it and all that, yes, but when I seen it at the local shop, I just looked at it, and I picked it up, and I most times...
It's adorable.
I know, it took me about 2 or 3 pages, and I was just like, oh, I gotta get this. Oh. Shall I hold it up for the folks?
Yes.
Okay. But I don't know what it was about it. There was, hang on a second. Oh yeah, there we go. There was just something really nice and energetic about the whole thing, right? And it only took me a couple of pages flipping through. It's just like, oh, I gotta get this book. It just looks...
It's such a cute art style.
I know. It reminds me of this other artist, but it's still just vaguely... well, it reminds me of a lot of styles, but I mean, that's good when people got...
Oh, she's so cute.
She is, isn't she? But yeah, it's... Oh, and this one here, the Monsters. It's a great book, I gotta say. I'm not gonna give away any of the endings or anything, or any of the secrets of it, but it's so worth reading, right?
So what's it about?
Well, he picks up this orphaned child, and he starts to raise her aboard the Nautilus and all that, and I can't say very much more without starting to give stuff away. But so he's rescued her, and he's raising her as his own aboard the Nautilus. But he's a sort of grumpy old bastard, right?
She's kind of like me and you.
Yeah. Except we're not in the Nautilus. Okay, you can throw that over on the pile there. Next up, and it's a cross product. Red Sonja by Frank Thorne, and for years I've been waiting for this, and finally it has come out. From Dynamite. The Adventures of Red Sonja. And what I like about this...
Backwards.
That's okay. What I like about this has... I just fell in love with the character. Oh God, 1970s, blah blah blah. It had to do with Conan and all that. She ran into Conan and all that. But this guy did...
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and she's not mentioned very much in the original novels and all that. I think there was really only one or two mentions of her, maybe. But anyway, she turned out to be a popular character, and they did their own series based on it. And they got this guy, Frank Thorne, to do the drawing for it. And he just has this crazy, crazy style that...
Oh, super detailed.
Yeah, and there's just something about it. I fell in love with it right away. And
I don't think they could see from that far away.
But yeah, he was one of my became one of my all-time favorite artists. Oh, there we go. And there's some Neil Adams, Esteban Morato even in here. But mainly this Frank Thorne stuff is what I'm looking for. Now, I think it may have been recolored, but it's looks good enough to me. Hold on. See that opening? I love that. He just had a great style. And he only died a couple of years ago. It was funny, well, not funny, but it's ironic. Him and his wife died the same day. He died in the morning, and she died later in the day or the next day. Something like that. They'd been together like 70-something years. So, and this also contains, actually, a couple of stories by this guy, Howard Chaykin, who I'm a big fan of. Oh, there. He has a very different kind of style, which I really like, right? especially now this has been colorized. The original was just in black and white, but the coloring job isn't too bad. So you know, I'm happy. I'm all in all very pleased. I would give this an A plus. No.
Captain Marvel, is this what, like, inspired Captain Canada?
No. Captain Canada. Canada was more inspired by like Captain America and all that. Now Captain Marvel. Now this isn't the Captain Marvel from the movies. This is my favorite, and my favorite Captain Marvel was the original Captain Marvel from the 60s and 70s. This is supposed to be his son, or the clone of him, whatever.
The first thing I open up to is your face. Like,
Nah.
ah.
And now, I normally wouldn't have bought this, but Dennis.
It's so bad.
I know, isn't it? There's like, what do we say, 60 comics in it? It's just like, I mean, it's even hard to try to show people. But, so I went in for the characters, just like he was like, oh, because he knew I'm a big fan of the original Captain Marvel, and he was all over me. Well, you gotta read it, all right? So I gave in. I gave in to the Dennis, and so far I'm a few issues in so far, and not bad, right? At least about that far in. Let's show the reader how far in I am.
It's probably not the thickest one you have, though, is it?
No, it's up there though. We were trying to figure out when he was telling me about when we were looking at it the other day what it is. Now the artwork's not too bad. It's this guy Crisscross Applesauce, and Peter David, who's the writer, and Peter David, who's always was one of my favorite writers,
I
right?
think I have some of those comics too. Is that? No, someone else. I don't know.
But yeah, you know, and then later on he changes his costume into the classic green and white one. This is sort of echoes of the original 60s costume, which was green and white. And I guess it goes like that for the rest of it. So I'm in the middle of reading it. It's not too bad.
It's pretty intense.
I know, it's some of that cosmic stuff, right? With star-powered stuff and cosmic cubes and infinity gauntlets, and sometimes Thanos thrown in for a laugh, right? Okay. Now we do have a Halloween episode coming up, and I do have the top 10 comic book cows that we'll do. And shall we tell people what's inspired the list, or shall we just let them see?
Well, you already just let the cat out of the bag. I don't know why you do.
Okay. Well, anyway, we'll keep the rest of the surprise. Anyway, the Halloween episode will be cool. There'll be another one in between then. Oh yeah, and I was going to do another episode in between for Keith Giffen, who passed away this year, the past week. One of my favorite comic book artists. So, poor old Keith. And I think I didn't have any. I had an Eddie Campbell book, but I really hadn't read enough about it to really say one way or the other if it's any good. So we'll skip that until I read a bit of that anyway. Well, I just checked out Dennis on that. This has been a rather quick episode, hasn't it? But I think we're both looking very good for it. Anyway, so we'll see everyone next week. Thanks for having us over, and keep reading comics. Bye!